Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good whatever. We are bringing you a Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 2. And today we have one of the very first games of the league, bringing you Rayvis of the German team Hime versus Tepedino of the Brazilian team Shovel is True Go Mode. And calling this race tonight, I am Reg. I am joined by Hammer. Hammer, what are we going to be seeing tonight?
Well, hopefully we're going to be seeing a good seed. I want everything clean. Let's not have any scavenger hunts for any items in particular. Oh, wait, sorry. You meant formatting. Okay, so this is week 1. We're having a straight up open seed, randomized swords, defeat Ganon. Nothing special here. We're going to start off with something relatively I hesitate to say vanilla because of the commentator curse, but I'm going to say it anyways, and if it happens, I'm sorry. We're going to have just kind of a standard rando. As we start with a bow in Link's house.
And some arrows in the sanctuary. I love an early bow, though. And I want to see a map check right away, because I'm going to be honest, I want to see somebody immediately just go to Eastern Palace here.
Whoa.
Even though it's a pendant. Did you see what Desert Palace was? I didn't. I did catch a second pendant at Hera, though.
Desert was a regular crystal, I believe. I know it was a crystal, because we have the red pendant up at Hera. But it is a crystal of some sort. I believe it was the second crystal, but I might be wrong
there. Okay. That's not the end of the world. 2 pendants in the light world. Pretty heavily skewed, but not completely unheard of. I hear there's a type of Link to the Past where there's all 3 in the light world.
Wait, why would anyone play that?
I don't know. But see a power glove in the Lost Woods. That bow is in Link's house, so Rayvis is probably going to grab it after Kakariko. Tepedino's got 30 arrows. Did he pick some up out of the Uncle Tunnel?
There were 10 in the second chest there. There were also a bunch for the tree drop. So tier 1 is arrows today.
Okay, that's super convenient, thanks. It does mean he can just go straight into the castle. This is going to be somewhere between 1 and 3 items, depending on the key and the map placement, in addition to the 2 checks he already got in the Uncle Tunnel.
That's a fair point. We also might see a sequence break towards the back, depending on where that key is. Not sure how comfortable Tepedino is in doing a bow dark room, but it's theoretically possible.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I would actually not really like to see it. I'm speaking with God Vision here, knowing what's on both sides. But with the super early glove, I'd rather see him clear the front out and then go to the back. And that way he can judge if Dark Cross is necessary based on whether he's found the map and the key in those 6 checks. And we've seen 2 items so far. But obviously he doesn't know that, so if he's feeling gutsy, he's got all the reason in the world to go into the cross.
Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. If he decides to do that, we're going to see a death warp here, so we'll know in just a minute or 2 what's going on.
Doesn't look like he's choosing the death warp, so it's going to just be a save and quit after he picks up this chest. Meanwhile, Rayvis found a shovel, but he has found nothing of note in Blind's hideout. Still about 8 more checks to get in Kakariko Village.
All right, well, not a whole lot there, but we did get to mark it off the list. That is the one big complaint that a lot of runners have about open mode is when do you get rid of escape? And for Tepedino, that was right now, thank you.
There's a book.
All right, so Rayvis is officially literate, and oh my goodness, okay, I was going to say, are we going to have another unique item in there? Holy cow, that was loaded.
I've got my eye on the fire sources here, though, because Desert being the only light world crystal, he can get into it, but I guess the boots are theoretically a thing. I'm just looking, how early are we going to get access to clear that?
Yeah, that's a fair point. With that being our only crystal, our runners are going to be, I don't want to say full-on hesitant to go into Eastern as Rayvis gets ripped off by our friendly bottle vendor. But it being the green pendant does make for a somewhat unique dilemma.
Yeah. My take on early Eastern is usually just go in.
We
no
actually may see
fuss,
something
but-
completely and totally ridiculous. We may see our runners wait for that fire source to do Eastern and wait until that green pendant's in logic, and wouldn't that just be ridiculous?
It was Eastern and green pendant. I thought it was blue. Oh well. Tepedino here is about to hit go mode. Let's see how he plays it.
Alright, so Shovel is True Go mode actually officially gets their True Go mode, I guess, picking up the shovel. That's another option. We could see where that leads, which I'm not sure if Rayvis is going to do that after checking the race game, but it's generally what people do. So we will hopefully see what that leads to.
Yeah, no reason not to check it after the race game. Especially because with the glove, you can just lift that rock and walk straight to the dam. It's faster than saving and quitting, I believe.
Speaking of the shovel, Rayvis making some digs, probably in an effort to grab some more bombs. Not being really lucky with the bush grabs there either, so still stuck on 2 bombs for now. And the superior boomerang. That's nice.
I'm not going to call it superior. You can't do splash deletions with it. Though I am a little surprised by the save and quit, because like I said, I didn't think that was faster. On the other hand, if he wants to go straight to the back of escape, then yes, that's absolutely a reasonable time to do it.
Yep, and with that glove, might as well. You can go ahead and get to the heavy portion of the escape sequence here. 3 chests and 1 more in Dark Cross if Rayvis chooses to brave it. It's going to be a little easier with the hook shot than it would have been for Tepedino with just the bow. We will see what Rayvis chooses to do, especially with that key sitting right there. Yep, looks like we're going to go for it.
Map plus key being there guarantees an item in the cross, even for Rayvis who hasn't seen the front yet. Let's see how it goes for actually finding it. Especially because he's got to find that key rat first.
Yeah, the hook shot generally makes it easier, but it seems like he's found the 2 rats that he didn't want to, and there's still one squeaking around there somewhere.
And that's unlucky. Of all the ways to lose your trip to the Dark Cross, that is not one that I was really expecting. Yeah, he found it.
Whew, there we go. Alright, so that's the hard part. We'll see in just a minute here, unless something else goes terribly wrong. See in just a minute if this pays off.
If it does, you'll have to imagine that the lamp or the fire rod
An amusing
can't be
thing to
far
consider,
off.
with V31 logic, we could find a fire source here.
Yeah. But even that would still mean that the other one can't be that far off.
Yes, very much so. That was a medallion. Did you see what medallion that was in the library in either time? It kind of looked like Bombos, but I didn't quite catch it.
I thought it was Bombos, but I'm not 100% sure myself. Chat saying Bombos. Thanks, chat, and shout-outs to the tracker Dark Diplomat for also being definitely on top of that.
Yo, and shout out to one of your favorite co-coms, Hammer Bro, being an absolute idiot and not noticing that Eastern is in fact the blue pendant and not the green one. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Vanilla green pendant isn't a thing. But Rayvis is taking his bow to South Shore, not taking it directly to Eastern Palace. Makes me a little bit sad, but I don't know. I'm not these guys. I'm not the runners. So I'm going to just sit here and be biased towards specific dungeons.
Not a bad idea. And honestly, any runner who tells you they're not biased towards, or more likely in certain cases, against certain dungeons, is probably a runner who's not being perfectly truthful with themselves. We all have our favorites or least favorites, as the case may be.
Well, think of it this way. Being biased against one dungeon is the same thing as being biased in favor of all the others.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Yeah. Hookshot making quick work of mini Moldorms. That last one trying to slip through that gap just makes a real easy shot. And there's a no Ice Rod Hunt seed for us today. I love it.
Yeah, that's honestly spectacular. And now that we've said that, we're going to be looking forward to a Turtle Rock Green pendant, most likely, because isn't that how it always works? But we can hope, right? We do see the stun prize being a heart, which if that crab keeps going after Rayvis, might want to pick one of those up.
Yeah. Although he's on blue mail, so he can take another hit, even from the crabs.
Meanwhile, Mini Moldorm's giving Tepedino the dance here back and forth.
Yeah. That's what makes them the most obnoxious enemy in the game. It makes me want to kill every single one I see ever. But he's got them all down.
See, it makes me want to just walk by them. Just leave me alone, I'll leave you alone, and let's just carry on. Oh, that Ice Rod Cave check not working out for Rayvis. Just a piece of heart, but it's off the list. Speaking of, we're kind of running a little low on what we have left here. Is that book going to lead us to something early on?
I'm thinking the book is probably a very good choice. Very solid prediction at the answer. My big concern would be going there with...
I don't know if you finished that statement, but I lost you there.
Basically, my concern is the book without a fire source. And the boots. Or the boots. Take your pick.
Alrighty, so it's looking like... sequence breaks aside, as Tepedino is going to go ahead and get some flipper checks out of the way. It's looking like the seed is intending us to either go to the eastern area or go make use of that book. Just a single rupee up on the lumberjack ledge, so that's nice. Won't have to deal with Aghanim for that purpose, at least.
The big problem about thinking this seed is pointing you to Eastern Palace is that the only thing the bow gets you there is Armos Knights, and that's Firelock to begin with, whether it's the Fire Rod for the new V31 or the traditional lamp. So until we find one of those two, I'm not going to say that we're getting pointed to Eastern specifically, because I think that's just... it's a bit questionable in logic.
Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely a bit of a non sequitur, we'll say, in terms of routing. Can you do that from that far down? I thought you had to be much closer. Okay, never mind.
No, even though he failed it, he still gets the back 3 items, and he'll learn some things in the cross. And honestly, that sword may make him a bit more inclined to chase it if... yep. Because that makes it a lot easier to keep your position around in the dark room, and the sword will automatically just hit rats as you hold it out.
Oh!
And Rayvis...
oh!
Iframes.
Whew! Even with those cabbages, Rayvis was feeling a bit bolder.
Yeah, but once you make it over to this ladder, there are no more cabbages, so he is completely safe.
Yeah, as you were saying, once you make it there, you are safe, as we do see a Master Sword up on top of Spectacle Rock, so just a mirror away from that.
Yeah. Of course, that sword could logically be our 4th one, even. Who knows where that mirror is going to be? The green pendant is Ice Palace. I saw a 5 at Skull Woods. I think I saw a 6 at Turtle Rock, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm glad you caught that. I was looking in the wrong direction. Alright, so we're going to continue to break some items here, but with the hook shot, we can check quite a few, so definitely not a bad call to do so, it's just not what the seed was anticipating us to do. And with Tepedino heading towards Eastern, this is more likely to be where we're supposed to go logically, at the very least. You know, the one thing that makes me sad about... Ooh, hello, fire rods. That's our second rod. That's nice. Also, a fire source.
Yeah, I think it's more important.
Green pendant is ice.
I think it's more important as a fire source at this point than as a rod. Although we do have that crystal at Turtle Rock, so... Cane of Samaria, mitts, hammer, maybe a medallion. We can full clear that. Of course, that's still a lot of items.
Yeah, that's fair. If anything, I think the more immediate use would be Skull Woods, as Tepedino is debating and decides to stay away from Eastern for the time being. Rayvis takes a bit of an unintentional fall there.
I think the most immediate use for the fire rod actually is Eastern Palace. It could potentially be Desert Palace, depending on the boots lock, though.
Yeah, another good point. Desert Palace is one of those fun crystals that has some maybe requirements.
It looks like Tepedino is just going to be making his way up to the mountain now. Pretty much the same situation as Rayvis, and that's 2 mirror lock swords.
Oh boy. Well, at least with Swamp Palace being a crystal, we know that we're going to find the mirror somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere, I guess. Do we really have to?
I mean, do you really want to see our runners have to do a sword hunt for Go mode?
I want to see him. Let's have the mirror on Mothula. That sounds real nice and fun.
Reg, you're supposed to be nice to our runners.
I am being plenty nice. They have everything they need to clear Skull Woods except Dark World access.
You know, okay, so I'd like to point out that our runners are very good at this game, and that's why they're here. But I don't think 5 hearts, green mail...
Blue mail.
Oh, sorry, blue mail. Even so, 5 hearts, blue mail, fighter sword, no half magic, no bottles. Yeah, I'm not feeling like that's an ideal Mothula fight.
You might be right. But let's try it anyways and see what happens.
You know, you've got to be careful. Unlike the tournament, you're actually one of the runners here, so that karma could come back and bite you.
Also, Rayvis did find a bottle somewhere. I think that was in Paradox Cave.
Yeah, good on our tracker for seeing it. I missed it, so I'm going to hope it's up here somewhere, and Tepedino's going to be grabbing it in just a moment. As we have Rayvis going to go ahead and do the back of escape and get not, well, I guess the basement of escape, and get not really a whole lot.
Yeah, we've already seen that on Tepedino's side, and yeah, it was nothing of real value. I'm still wondering when these guys are going to bite the bullet and hit a dungeon. Whether they fear the boots lock in the desert or don't want to bother with Pendant Eastern.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I can understand it in both instances. You know, like, it's a long walk to desert, and you might be doing that for absolutely nothing. You could super easily get, you know, locked out from those boots and then have there be nothing in the one chest that you can check. I don't know. I would lean towards Eastern.
There is a guaranteed desert ledge and a Gina check for 2 items, though, if you go over to the desert. That's something that's being a bit underrated here, even by myself.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're pretty much even then. As with the fire rod, the only thing that you wouldn't be able to check logically in Eastern would be the vanilla big key chest.
Rayvis using his sword against the ball and chain guard. Fire rod kills that thing in one shot. I'm a big fan, but Rayvis apparently less so.
Yeah, fire rod, 4 arrows. There's a couple of ways he could have done it, but you know, Rayvis seemed to be in a bit of an NMG mood there with the fighter sword, so might as well just let the guy do it.
He did well.
Yeah, it's pretty clean. And it looks like it's going to be the desert this time for Rayvis. He's choosing the crystal dungeon that he does not know for certain he can complete over the pendant that he can.
Yeah, I've noticed a decent amount of runners just don't really feel like dipping pendant dungeons all that much. As Tepedino's going in the same direction, so both of our runners taking
and honestly,
what's
from a sheer
relative
number
50-50.
of items perspective, this is potentially
and
more
going with
than
the crystal
Eastern. I
dungeon, so
mentioned
we'll see how it pays off.
and the ledge earlier were 2. Desert's 2 more. Actually, I'm silly. We haven't seen Sahasrara from either runner yet, have we? Oh, that's a moon pearl.
Oh boy, that's fun.
Okay, chat's on the ball with technical difficulties here. We are trying to get those resolved. But we saw a moon pearl on the ledge. I don't think we've seen anything else during that span.
Alrighty, I am back. I could hear you that time. Hopefully we've gotten everything straightened out and Discord was just being kind of weird.
We did see the boots lock in desert. Although we have the big key, so it's only logical.
Yeah, that's a fair point. There's a decent chance we're going to be leaving something in here, though. And with that moon pearl on the ledge, we got what we needed.
Let me think here. That moon pearl is not Dark World access. We're still missing mitts or hammer. So gonna go back, kill land mullahs, and hope it's the item, I guess, is the plan.
Yeah, and if it's not, at this point, I'm fairly certain that unless Landmo has something fun for us, Eastern's the answer. Oh hey, chat pointing out that Zora is an option. Whoops.
Yeah, the glove does enable that. Although it doesn't enable anything else. They do have the moon pearl for water walking shenanigans. And they have the bow for easy splash deletes. So that whole area is clearable. And Chad is saying that land mullahs cannot be the progression because of the boots lock, which is accurate. but it can still be the second item in general, in which case they get to say not ever coming back here for the junk on the left side. Then again, I think we already saw a compass. So, yeah. Rayvis gets it down, gets a blue rupee, but I can't even remember if we saw an item in the front anymore.
I don't believe so. Just small key, big key compass.
Okay, and chat is confirming one item on the right side.
Yeah, that sounds like it. So we may have to come back here, which is a blast, I'm sure. Tepedino running out of magic, having to do some bow strats.
Okay, so Rayvis is taking his ball and going to Eastern Palace with it. This or Zora is pretty much the last location. So, Tepedino puts some arrows into Landmome, puts that down pretty well. Bow is a hard weapon to use in that fight.
Yeah, vanilla Landmo is not friendly unless you go get that ice rod super early.
Yeah, and getting Ice Rod early in a speedrun, in a vanilla speedrun at least, is slow. There's a reason they put that off to like right before they go to Turtle Rock.
Yes, not to mention the fact that crabs do a boatload of damage.
Yeah. At this point, I don't think either runner's going to be super concerned with that between the blue mail and the hearts. Like, one heart's still a lot, but not the end of the world.
Oh yeah, most definitely not. But it does look like Eastern is going to be our progression unless we find... I mean, we could, if we find the lamp in Eastern, or the flute for that matter, it could give us logical access to Death Mountain, which would then give us access to Armos properly. But outside of that
Logical access to the mountain doesn't mean very much when we've already gotten everything out of it, though. It just puts the fire rod in sequence, which is not a huge deal.
That's fair. Oh, hello, Mitz.
Yeah, there's Dark World.
Alright, and we are continuing on. So we will see if Tepedino makes the same choice there.
And chat saying rip Aghanim. Well, probably yes, but hold your horses for something weird on the east side of the Dark World, like, say, a hammer. It's not totally... Rayvis getting just 2 chests, 2 items, and noping out of Eastern. That's a play right there. Leaving 1 behind.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting choice. It'll be fun to see if Tepedino makes the same choice or continues on.
I would expect him to continue on, because bailing after the second item when the first one was the progression, don't see that one very often.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I feel like that was a moment of playing the odds where Rayvis was like, okay, well, there's 4 locations left to check. Only one of them has the item. This isn't a crystal or a green pendant, so completing it isn't going to give me anything extra. We'll just go with the glove and go back up the mountain.
Yeah, and the mountain as his first Dark World spot is kind of an interesting choice. It's not the normal one at any rate, but without the hammer, your only other option is the Village of Outcasts. And if you want to go to Thieves Town without a hammer, you are well within your rights to do so. And Tepedino is skipping the dark rooms, not going to kill Armos Knights, even though he has...
Tepedino deciding to nope out as well. Still missing 1 item there, as we get a Cane of Samaria.
Yeah. Tepedino could have taken his fire rod to the back to go kill Armos, because that's only 1 dark room that is in logic. Well, I say it's in logic.
So for those of you in chat who are considering the potential logic requirements of Aghanim, in order for Aghanim to be required at this given point, as we do see a vanilla Quake requirement for Turtle Rock, we need the hammer and the flippers on east side of the Dark World or behind stuff on East Side Dark World. Because either of those would give us access to East Side, which would then make Aghanim not required.
It's looking like we saw nothing of real note besides that red cane on the Dark Mountain. So Tepedino's skipping that for now, going to go straight into the lower Dark World, and there's his mirror. So as soon as he goes up to Dark Death Mountain, that's going to be a free Tempered Sword for him.
That's a good point. I also feel like Mirror is a really nice find just for routing purposes. Grabbing super late Mirror is one of those really unfortunate things that could lead you to have some really far out of the way orphan locations. Getting that relatively early means we won't have to worry about it happening.
But nothing of note in the brewery, and not quite to the Sea House yet. No, Rayvis is doing Sick Kid. Did we see Tepedino check this on his way into the Dark World? I didn't notice if so.
I do not believe so, but just a big 20, so didn't miss anything there.
Yeah, and with the mirror, he can check that immediately if he wants to, but doesn't look like he does.
So Tepedino showing a bit of aversion
like that flute turn
to
in. Skipping it now
so far
is not going to bite him.
Staying away from Skullwoods, staying away from Thievestown. Gonna go ahead and do Dig Game, and then I presume we're gonna get a Smith chain.
Like, I get wanting to shy away from that dungeon with no hammer, but it is a crystal that you can at least get. So
So it seems like Tepedino does not quite agree with you that a really early Mothula is ideal, as we get the flute from the Dig Game. Huh. So that's actual official Death Mountain access.
It's a thing for sure. Is he turning around? He's turning around for the Smith because he's got Mitz and Mirror. He'll probably activate that on the way back in.
I would be shocked if he didn't, honestly. It's right there. This could also just be a dash to the Hive Cave, which has been somewhat disappointing for this version, I feel, overall, but there's still 5 items there, so worth a check.
Looks like Rayvis is going to take a trip to the back of Skull Woods. He's on 7 hearts and a fighter sword. I like this a lot.
Of course you like it a lot, Reg. Of course you do.
Fighter Sword Mothula is so satisfying to both watch and perform. The only problem is when it goes off rails and then the runner dies and it just feels bad, man.
Yeah, see, that's me half the time in good conditions, and Rayvis does not have good conditions right now.
Very clean, knocking that mummy into the spike twice. Knock it into the spike, and it doesn't matter what you hit it with. It's taking the gold sword damage, which means 2 hits will kill it.
Speaking of knocking into spikes, that's the fun part about this Mothula fight, because anytime you knock Mothula into spikes, it takes no damage, because, well, coding.
Because this fight would be a total joke if it did.
Well, yeah, it's still a total joke, except for the joke's on you.
Rayvis is actually doing a very solid job with this fight so far. I think he's just got a couple hits left. Yep, and that's how you do Fighter Sword Moth, friends. That was well done.
Holy cow, that was exceptional right there.
That's why I love that particular fight. It's wonderful.
I almost want to say get your GGs in chat just for that. Whew! Very well done.
Oh, Tepedino found a hammer. So he won't have to use the fighter sword against Mothula if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, but hammer comes with its own set of issues.
But I'm wondering, what does that hammer... I guess the obvious choice for that hammer is to take it to Palace of Darkness. Because if you're comfortable with the dark rooms, that's a full clear now. Although with the way Tepedino shied away from Armos earlier, even with an item left, well, I'm going to have confidence in the guy, but I'll be interested to see how he approaches it.
Yeah, it is really intriguing. And that's kind of the super fun part about having a larger group of people like the Randomizer League is you get to see some really interesting
nothing
just plans for going through stuff. Like Tepedino is leaning heavily on the overworld checks, whereas Rayvis is doing what we would consider more standard stuff. Go into the dark world, go take out the moth. Probably going to get a clear here of Thieves Town after we get the checks inside of the Village of Outcasts. And we'll see how that goes. The big difference here, though, is that Tepedino does have that hammer, where Rayvis, unless he goes all the way down to Cave 45, which, as we can see right now, isn't going to happen, could potentially be missing an item from here.
Yeah, but it is only potential, and he has found... Like, when he does get down to that Cave 45, he will have a full clearable Swamp Palace in his back pocket if he so chooses.
You know, I feel like this seed's kind of snuck up on us.
We're basically seeing with this seed the difference, the classic difference between overworld heavy and dungeon heavy routing. Rayvis is like, see dungeon, do dungeon. Tepedino's like, I can't guaranteed full clear it, let's maybe shy away until I can, not leave anything behind.
Yeah, that's a good point. It'll be interesting to see if Tepedino does decide to go into pod even without that lamp. Because I don't think Tepedino's decision to nope out of Eastern had anything to do with
Rayvis is
lamp
leaving
lock.
after those first 4, though, seeing that small key.
I mean, that will end up working out because we do have a hammer in South Grove. But Rayvis doesn't necessarily know that.
And that's Dead Rocks.
Yeah, Dead Rocks are not a fun enemy. I feel like whoever came up with those was not having a good day.
Or they may have been having the best day and just define good differently.
That's fair. I feel like people having bad days are more likely to spread the misery, which I'm pretty sure that's officially the definition of a dead rock.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, game designer as a job is spreading misery under the guise of fun is all.
You mean like Fighter Sword and Mothula?
Like somebody literally designed Swamp Palace.
Wait, you're saying someone literally designed Swamp Palace, but not someone literally designed Ice Palace that we had to break to make tolerable?
Yeah. Partially because I forgot that we do break it so hard as part of speedrunning. But yeah.
That's fair.
Swamp Palace is just cutscenes. Or to use a less controversial example, somebody designed the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. You know, I'd like to point out there's one thing that all three of those dungeons we've mentioned have in common?
Tepedino's got a mirror, which means he can get sword number 2 off this floating island.
So I've got an interesting thought. Are we going to see a dip into Hera?
Hera is somewhere between. Well, I say somewhere between. I was gonna say somewhere between 1 and 2, but we do have fire, so we can full clear it if we really want to. It's a pendant though, so that's reason to shy away if you're into that sort of thing.
Tepedino kind of making a willing mirror bonk there. That was kind of interesting. And it does look like we're going to get a dip into Hera at the very least.
Well, Meyer shed on one side, Hera on the other. Let's see. Trash times 3.
Meanwhile, we do get to skip the coffee break room, at least for now.
Also, chat's bringing up a point. We are medallions away from having all the items we need to win the game.
Yep, and both those medallions are vanilla. Oh, let the hunt begin. Hey, blue goo, that's not bad. Alright, so at this point, Rayvis is going to continue clearing stuff. Should get their hammer in just a moment. Yeah, we're going down to K45. That's awesome. So Rayvis is going to have their hammer. At that point, both of our runners will just be needing some medallions, like you said. So that'll be fun.
Tepedino's going to need to find those flippers in Thieves Town. I can't imagine he'll be missing them for very long, but he does need them for Swamp Palace. No way around that.
Yeah, that is a good point, but yeah, those are along the way. Meanwhile, Moldorm is, well, being Moldorm. Oof, twice.
That's unfortunate.
Third time's the charm, hopefully? Yep, and of course Moldorm being, downright friendly for that third time, and hey, there's one of the medallions we need.
Third time is required, though.
Alright, so for our notes, we are just looking for Quake at this point. Do you want a vanilla Quake today, Reg? Alright, Rayvis going through the absolute tripe cave that he was given here. Meanwhile, Tepedino is a couple seconds away from finding out that we do in fact need one more medallion.
Chat's asking if Tepedino forgot that Turtle Rock was Quake. I believe that was his first time seeing the Turtle Rock medallion. Therefore, he didn't know, and he was just taking a chance that maybe it was Ether, maybe he could get in full clear.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain you're correct there. I think we only had the check on Rayvis' side.
Yeah, Tepedino had already done the rest of Dark Mountain, which is why he had the cane, but he hadn't swung his way up there. I would imagine that he always intended to do that after Hera. Anyways, Rayvis into Swamp Palace. It's going to get 3 resident sleepers from me.
I mean, sure, but is it going to get the Quake medallion? Alright, so Tepedino is headed towards the back of Skull Woods. It looks like it is about time to start really clearing dungeons on this side. Gonna go ahead and try and get a ferry. We'll see how this works out, but bees can be friendly. There we go, manages to get it.
Yep. Only got buckoed once. And the bee did run off to attack other mobs on the overworld, so it was fairly easy for him to catch the ferry once it came back his way. Anyways, I have to imagine that once Tepedino kills the moth, he's going to be right into Thieves Town afterwards. And then at that point, you'll just need to find that Quake medallion somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do feel like Tepedino is probably going to head into the Mire area next, though, because I don't believe they know that the Mire medallion's Ether.
Yeah, that's probable at this point, I would think. The other option would be to chase item density into Potter Swamp and only worry about the medallion once you've actually gotten it. But when you're only one item from go mode, knowing that or whether you can go mode a dungeon is huge.
Yep, because depending on where you find that Quake medallion, knowing that Mire is not in fact Bombos will allow you to skip whatever the heck you were doing from that point forward.
Yeah. And if that happens, and if you find it like in, say, Swamp Palace, which Rayvis hasn't, but hypothetically speaking, you just go mode the rest of the dungeon. Easy game, easy life.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing to bring up, though. Rayvis, when are they going to come in here and go up to Hera and take out that Quake medallion? They don't seem to be enjoying dipping into dungeons or completing dungeons for that matter. Hello, Quake. Can I call a burn the witch on that?
If you want.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have you get the dinner plate out of your mouth.
But it's still not go mode for Rayvis. He needs to go kill a worm.
Yep. But it will be go mode for Tepedino once they
Although
they actually grab it.
This might actually be fine for Rayvis. Chat's saying it's bad, but that Quake will take him up to Turtle Rock. He can do Hera right afterwards if he wants to. So that will at least put him in the general location and give him a solid chance to do it.
Yeah, that is a good point. Mire area has already been taken out, so we don't have to worry about that. Rayvis knows they can't get into Mire itself. So we're basically looking at Hera Pod, which I imagine will be the next clear here in just a second for Rayvis. And then, yeah, Turtle Rock. So we'll see how it goes. This might not end up being bad.
See, on Fighter
Sword
side, there
Argus.
is a moth down. And it is going to be Thieves Town next for him, as we were more or less expecting.
Yeah, meanwhile, Rayvis trying to get some double spins here for the Fighter Sword Argus strats. Not a really difficult boss, but not a quick one.
Oh, that was well done.
That was frozen calamari.
I was about to question the choice of the ice rod for that, but wow. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but by the time the words were ready to come out of my mouth, Argus was getting absolutely frostbitten.
Is this an ice palace play for Rayvis, or is he just gonna swim over to the pod area? I'm not sure why he wouldn't mirror and flute if he was going to pod.
I have no idea.
Did we see something on the island earlier, or is he just blind pulling this?
I feel like it's a blind pull, because, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Not a bad idea, then.
I'm still pretty sure fluting would be faster, but maybe I'm wrong. And Rayvis only has 400 rupees still, so if King Zoro winds up on the menu for him later, he's gonna need a few more bucks for it. I think the hobo had a good chunk of change though, so...
Yeah, I believe it was a 100.
Yeah, that'll be exactly enough until he decides he wants to go into pod. The routing in the hobo there actually explains his decision to swim that instead of flute it. Because now he's not very far from pod. And he did get to route that extra check in, so that was bigger brain than me, let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's why Rayvis is running, and I just sit here and calm. Because I look silly in the booth when something like that happens, but I'd look a lot more silly if I were running it, so I'll just stay here.
As long as you can understand it after the fact, it's fine. It's the plays where it's just totally incomprehensible even after it's done that just leave you confused.
Alright, let's see what Pod's got for us today. I mean, the answer, honestly, is going to be not a whole lot, since we do know where everything is at this point, but we can still hope for silvers or something, right?
Silvers, the boots... I don't think the lamp can logically be here, but I quit following that chain of logic about 40 minutes ago.
I don't blame you.
Oh, baby.
Alrighty then.
Rayvis does have to go back and kill Blind at some point, so he will not be missing that item. However, he does not currently have that item.
There's something ironic about Sonic being the sprite that doesn't have the boots currently.
I mean, Sonic keeps saying he's gotta go fast, right? Doesn't that imply that he can't?
You're... your metagaming is too strong for me, Reg.
Gotta get one back in at you between the puns and the technical difficulties today.
Wait a minute. Hold on. How is this everything against Hammer Bro?
Third crystal, so actually tie game now on the crystal count. And we'll see where he's off to next. Looks like it's going to be the hammer pegs first. And then following his pattern, he could go right into Swamp Palace after this.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Tepedino is someone who clears things closer to my personal preference. I don't necessarily lean towards the overworld as much as he does, but I definitely like full clearing everything as soon as I can. So this sort of goodness gracious, methodical clearing is pretty much how I run stuff too. So I don't blame him at all. Let's not leave anything behind if we can help it.
Yeah, leaving things behind is the #1 way to get burned in Randomizer. Coincidentally, #2 is doing literally everything and finishing 10 minutes behind because of it.
Yeah, #3 is picking up the fire rod and not realizing you did. Sorry, got you back.
It's okay.
Hey, and for the first time ever in the commentary booth, Greg has acknowledged a pun that I said. Heck yeah!
It is the expected Swamp Palace for Tepedino here. So he will hit his go mode once he gets to the back, pulls that Quake. The only issue would be I'm not going to say he can't do dark rooms because I haven't seen evidence that he can't. But I am unfamiliar with this runner. So I'm not going to hard say that he would not prefer a lamp, especially because that turtle room can be nasty.
I mean, turtle room aside, the Mire dark rooms aren't friendly either.
Yeah, Mire's also a thing that a lot of runners don't really enjoy in the dark. I tend to overlook that one because strats do exist. Meanwhile, for turtles, it's just get wrecked.
I mean, to some extent, but Tepedino having the fire rod makes it slightly less so, especially with half magic. You can just spam it and wait for the turtles to get out of the way, or rather hope they get out of the way.
Well, Rayvis did find a lamp, and I didn't notice until chat called it out. Thank you, chat. Thank you, tracker. Because lamp was in the front of Palace of Darkness. So yeah, no real worries there unless Tepedino decides he really wants it before going into pod, which would be tragic, but I would be a bit surprised.
Kind of an interesting freeze frame for Tepedino there with the hammer just a pixel away from slamming down on the mole.
And speaking of turtles, here comes the aforementioned turtle room. Let's see how Rayvis handles it on just a fighter sword. Looks like pretty clean to me.
Yes, that was a turtle demolishing right there. And, you know, between the fact that there were a bunch of turtles there and the fact that he used the hammer for it, I'm conflicted. Meanwhile, Tepedino is doing left side, so it's going to be a little more of a delay in getting that Quake medallion. There we go.
I'm a little
Rayvis gave
confused.
hammer.
Is Tepedino going
a
for the
try.
left side of swamp or not?
Tepedino already did left side. Oh, wait. No. Oh, wow.
Looks like he is, and chat's coming around to it. Absolutely cannot blame him for this play being one item from go mode, and if you leave it behind, it super feels bad. So, definitely an understandable play. A lot of runners do like going to the back first and then coming back into the left side for exactly this reason, though.
Yeah, the jury's still out on that for most people. There's a bit of a debate about it, I feel. Are we seeing Graveyard Ledge? No, because Rayvis didn't finish Thieves Town. Never mind.
Could still see it after this, though. I don't remember, did Rayvis do Purple Chest as well? Because if he didn't, we could see him take that chest all the way up.
Yeah, that is an option. There's a couple of routing choices we could have here, depending on how Rayvis is feeling and what they decide to skip or not skip. We also, on that note, have not seen Catfish from either of our runners. Alrighty, so Tepedino is just a couple of seconds away here from Go Mode, which at just over an hour in,
And here's Tepedino's
that's pretty
Go
good.
Mode at about an hour and 9 seconds.
Yep, pretty quick, all things considered. This seed was really slow going to start off with. Phew, for the first 20-25 minutes, it was, we were just looking for anything, please.
Yeah, how long did it take to get that Moon Pearl? If I remember right, we found that at like the 25 to 30 minute mark when they finally got over to Desert.
Yeah, something like that. It was not good. And even then, the Moon Pearl in and of itself didn't really do a whole lot. We still needed to go over to Eastern. So it was a little slow going, but it sped up nicely for us. We did have a nice attempt at the quick kill from Tepedino. Really, really not an easy strat to do, even partially.
Chat's asking about the boots. You're going to see those boots on Rayvis' side in about, 40 seconds, give or take?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Just don't skip that chest. Just please don't skip that chest.
Game of 4 crystals for Tepedino. Let's see what he does next. I would expect Pod, just on principle.
Yeah, it's along the way. You might as well.
Looks like Tepedino's choosing Meyer, probably choosing to confirm his go mode over going to Pod. Wonder if he'll go in.
Yeah, not a bad idea. We gotta clear both of them anyways, and we gotta flute to each of them either way, so doesn't really matter, even if Pod was geographically in the same general direction as Tepedino was going.
Yeah. The counterpoint to that, though, is that he is still making checks, which means he either really wants the lamp or really wants the silvers. I have to assume it's the lamp at this point.
Yeah, with the Tempered Sword in hand, I feel like it's a lamp. Now, if he was stuck on Master Sword, I would think maybe not. But with Tempered in hand, I feel like the lamp is probably what we're missing here. But we're going to go ahead and give it a shot anyway, so we'll see how this turns out for Tepedino.
Okay. I'll see how he tries to handle those dark rooms, whether he goes for it anyways and was just for checking the lamp for safety and is a time save. The worst and most unfortunate thing would be as if that lamp turns out to be necessary for him, which is perfectly fine. These dark rooms are very difficult, especially the ones in Mire and in Palace of Darkness. So there is absolutely no shame in wanting a lamp to do those. It'd just be unfortunate because we know it's not here. It'd be pretty analogous to trying to dip Turtle Rock without an ice rod, hoping that it's in there when, surprise, it's a graveyard ledge.
I feel like if Tepedino really wanted that lamp, I would make two counterpoints to that. Firstly, Pod has way more items than Mire. And secondly, I don't know if Tepedino feels the same way, but generally the Mire dark rooms are seen as worse than the Pod ones.
Yeah. The big thing is, I think coming to Mire first, just to confirm that you're actually in go mode with your 2 medallions, is very reasonable. And I would expect that to have been his thinking in coming here. And strategies exist for the Mire dark rooms. I think I mentioned it earlier, but for Mire, there are strats you can do, especially with a sword. With Dark Turtles, it's just pray, especially if you don't have the Fire Rod. Although that one does seriously help.
Yes, I would rather do 100 turtle rooms with the Fire Rod and no lamp than even a couple turtle rooms with neither.
Bring these, I hear they help.
You know, the problem with your somewhat non-varied delivery is I can't tell if you're trolling me or not.
Well, I'll leave that one at that, and instead I'll give a quick lesson on the first Mire dark room, because that's considered to be the most difficult. What you do
Hold
is you
on.
immediately...
Let me get my notepad.
Okay. What you do, though, is you immediately, once you go through the door, you face right, hold your sword, and walk backwards. Walk backwards until your sword sparkles indicate that you have quit moving downwards, which is off the angle at the top of the room. And then walk slightly down, press A, press Y. Easy, you'll never miss. Because if you are in position to lift the pot from the left, you are in position to place the block as well.
I will definitely keep that in mind next time I find myself in Mire without a lamp.
He is headed for the key door, so gonna do it.
Alright, here we go. And keep in mind, we're not saying that Tepedino needs a lamp because we know, we're just speculating. So, Tepedino might run through this stuff with no issue whatsoever. We're just kind of guessing based upon the routing choices that we're seeing here.
And it looks like he is going for exactly the strat I said, except he lost his sword there and didn't get the pot lifted, it looks like. That's unlucky.
Yeah, it seemed like Tepedino was a little high there.
I think he's trying to place the block on the switch from above. I think he got it, though.
Yep,
Yeah,
it looked like it. Good call. He got it.
Yeah, that's very solid.
Meanwhile, Rayvis is avoiding grabbing, going back up the mountain, unfortunately, as we see the other sword. So that's all 4 of them, guys. Oof.
He has a fairy. I'm wondering, which sword will Rayvis skip? I've got to imagine he's going to just skip the one on Spec Rock now and just grab the one out of, or on the floating island.
Nope. Looks like we're going to be doing Spec Rock.
Okay. That's a good chance for him to go straight into Hera, too, which if he sees all the way through, he'll be rewarded with his own go mode.
It looked like we got an attempt at Spooky there on Tepedino's side, Dark Spooky no less, but did not work out. So we're going to get the vanilla running through this.
Yeah, and then once he's through this, he is through the Dark in Mire. Very well done on his part.
Yes, a little low on health, though. Does have that blue goo, but gonna want to be careful since Vitreous is not friendly.
I think 4 hearts and red mail means he can take 1 hit. I am less sure about 2, and I do not know the numbers off the top of my head.
I want to say that it's 2 hearts a pop for red mail, but we'll see in a moment here. Well, maybe not. Oh, yeah, 2 hearts a pop.
Yeah, he was trying for the NMG-style damage boost strat, but that eyeball put an end to that, unfortunately, before he could get very far into it. So now he's just got to play it safe.
I don't think he realizes that he has a blue goo.
I don't think he does. Because he has 2 bottles. One had the fairy in it. I'm pretty sure the other one's empty. Yeah. He's got 2 empty bottles right now. But he's got the fight done very well.
My miscount then. I thought I saw a blue goo pickup somewhere.
And I think that was on Rayvis' side. Or chat saying he used it against the moth.
That's right.
We do have a tied crystal count for now. It's a bit of divergence. Rayvis has the pod clear. Tepedino has the mire clear. Rayvis will have Turtle Rock in a few minutes too. But Tepedino is the one in go mode, and he won't have to make an extra mountain climb to enter Ganon's Tower.
That's a good point. There's also the addition of the fact that Tepedino technically has a 1 dungeon advantage because, well, we have to full clear Mire. Or not Mire. Oh my goodness. Hera. Sorry. I got stuck on Hera and Moldorm and Mire came out. Don't ask me how.
I mean, where was the big key in Mire? It was on the right, wasn't it?
Yes, it was right next to the big chest.
Then that's almost a full clear, just skipping the cutscene chest. And I guess Rayvis will be skipping the big chest as well. Presumably skipping the big chest, excuse me, based on the way he's been playing.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see Rayvis, once they're in go mode, grab anything, pretty much.
Yeah, because Rayvis has been playing very confidently and executing well. He has just so far gotten a bit randoed by that ether medallion, and it's led to him making some extra checks. But I think conventional pod routing here would be get this small key, then go back for the vanilla big key chest and the Stalfos basement. So he'll have his lamp for the turtles and the dark maze if the big key's in there. I don't remember where it is.
Yep, and I feel like in about, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds, we're going to get a Tepedino eye roll if we could see their face, because the Mire Dark Rooms went well, but I feel like we're in a situation where Lamp would have been much preferred, please and thank you.
I mean, maybe preferred, yeah, but he did that well enough that I'm going to give him all the credit in the world for that.
Fair point, and well-deserved credit it is. Kind of an interesting seed, though. We've seen quite a few things here, but we still haven't seen powder or either of our invincibility items.
Well, we know nothing of value is in Spike Cave or the Bumper Ledge, which means that for all we care, those items are just buried in the back of GT.
That's fair, but then we have to consider Turtle Rock logic. We would either need one of those or a couple shields.
No, that logic got changed in V31. It's not a thing anymore.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Cool. One of the extra things to keep in mind.
Yeah, it only applies to the so-called advanced item placement, but that's what like the league and tournament or whatnot are all using. If you want to play with the basic item placement, that is still a thing. But that's something only if you're playing casually, basically.
Makes sense. It's about on par with being able to do certain dark rooms with the fire rod. So it all makes sense.
Okay, Tepedino gonna need an extra small key to go to Helmasaur, but there it is, and he's going.
Yep, with that lamp, Tepedino has finally reached the point where they are feeling comfortable. So we are likely not going to see silvers unless they are along the way, most likely during our GT Big Key hunt. Skipping everything else, and it's time to roll.
Yep. Could also be one of, well, I guess I was going to say one of the chests along the way in Turtle Rock, but the only one I think we're going to see, well, no, never mind. Rayvis does not have a small key. I think there's one on Laser Bridge that Tepedino might need. Regardless, silvers could have been in Turtle Rock basically until the moment I started talking.
Yeah, that's fair. It's also kind of a Turtle Rock Go mode's kind of a weird thing because depending on the runner and their preference, some runners choose not to skip that big chest just because there's a very small chance that that there isn't a key here and that you're kind of stuck. But right as I say that, we get a key and we are good to go. And there's the powder.
Yeah, so there's one of the safeties you mentioned. Probably the best one of the lot, too, in my opinion.
Yes, especially during the later dungeons.
Yeah, anti-fairies are everywhere in the Dark World. And just a map.
Yep, we are going to get a clear of our friend Trinex. Okay, so Rayvis is electing to not worry about grabbing an anti-fairy there and having a little bit of fun in these rooms here. So only going to have 5 hearts for Trinex. As Tempered Sword makes relatively quick work of the second phase of Helmasaur. So there we go.
Yep. Rayvis had a pretty solid fight using the hammer to do that, and then switched to arrows when things went a little bit south and he got knocked out of position. But Tempered Sword doing hammer damage is much easier to use.
Yep, and at this point, the big decision is going to be on Rayvis' side. Are we going to get Hera next?
Yeah. I do want to call out, Rayvis got a very nice quick kill on the second phase with Trinex there. Got the double spin right off the bat, and then the one extra slash at the very end to put it down. But yeah, at this point, we're going to determine whether we've really got a race on our hands, because if Rayvis goes to Hera, then it's suddenly real close. But if he skips Hera, goes pretty much anywhere else, then that's a bad sign.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Rayvis there. He's following the powder that he got in Turtle Rock. And I mean,
Yeah.
this is reasonable for sure. Just follow the last item you're given and hope that you made the right play off that and can get the advantage, but it's wrong. And we unfortunately know it is.
Yeah, it's all about routing technique, and we've seen that Rayvis has a particular dislike of going in dependent dungeons. So unfortunately, there being 2 items in particular pendant dungeons and one of them sitting on a boss of a particular pendant dungeon, not a great seed for Rayvis' preferred routing.
Yeah, sometimes rando be like that. They don't think it be like that, but it do. And it looks like it's actually going to be the Pyramid Fairy for Rayvis here, coming to this Dark World portal. Turtle Rock was the second 5/6 crystal, so that's on the menu.
Yeah, not a bad choice. We're gonna get 2 items here. Might even get silvers.
Has Rayvis been to the pyramid to see the ledge item yet?
If he has, I didn't see it. But I did see catfish, so I don't think so, but might be wrong there.
Yeah, I know one of them went over and did it. Actually, I think Rayvis had the funky routing with the flippers to route in Hobo, and I can't remember if he went straight to Pod after that or if he came over here. We're about to find out at any rate, though. And he's running over, so he has not.
Meanwhile, that was kind of interesting on Tepedino's side, using a boots bonk to get over the crystal roller instead of using the iframes from the hookshot.
Boots bonk iframes are definitely the best iframes in the game, and I wish more people would make use of them, just because they're really cool. And they add to your bonk counter. And having a high one of those is always good, isn't it?
I always have a high one, even if I don't find the boots somehow. So yeah, I guess we'll go with that.
Yeah. Remember, Link to the Past is not golf. And here, Rayvis is checking Ped. If I recall correctly from when Tepedino saw it, it's just 3 bombs, so he's going to walk away disappointed. Oh, it's Couch Cash. Still going to walk away disappointed.
I do have a question about that particular saying. Do we know what the cutoff is? Is any rupee set amount other than the 300 Couch Cash?
I think 20 and 50 are Couch Cash, 1 and 5 are Pocket Change, and 1 and 300 are both Ruby Ords, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha, okay. I knew that 300 was a horde. I wasn't sure about any of the rest of it.
Yeah, it's just there's so many red rupees in the pool and so few blue and greens that you hardly ever see Pocket Change on the Ped.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know that I've actually ever seen it. I need to check Ped more often.
We do get to see the right side of Desert Palace that was abandoned an hour ago. And it's just cash.
Speaking of rupee hordes, yeah, and as chat is alluding to, it at this point is Tepedino's race to lose. Rayvis is going absolutely everywhere except for Hera, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah. And I mean, I think all of these decisions by Rayvis have been very reasonable, defensible routing choices, especially in the moment. It's just, sometimes you don't win it. Because item can be literally anywhere.
Alright, Tepedino gets to completely skip Laser Bridge, which is really nice and not something you see too terribly often.
Nope, just gotta have that extra small key. He does miss that magic powder safety though, so he's walking into a Trinex fight with 4 hearts. I believe he caught a fairy earlier though, so that's something working in his favor.
Yeah, I do believe that we currently have a fairy in a bottle, so I believe you're correct there, but that fairy count has been going from 1 to 0 a couple times, so I may have missed it.
We do see the backdoor strats on Trinex here. Easily is the wrong word there, but definitely achievable with the boots. but you cannot get Zero Cycle with just Tempered Sword. You have to have Butter for that. And that's Trinex down for Tepedino's 7th crystal.
All right, so here we go. There's a game we like to play, just in case you're relatively new here, or you just like hearing me talk. Here's how it works. There are 22 locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower that could contain the big key. Tepedino is going to be the first one there, so go ahead and get your guesses in chat. 1 through 22, where is that big key hiding? No zeros, no numbers over 22, no decimals or fractions, and please keep the irrational numbers to yourself. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can post all those in chat if you want. You're just not going to win.
Fair point. Regaro, my friend, what is your guess today?
It's always number 10, aka the I like to listen to Hammer talk number.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and make a guess at number 3. I want to see it on the torch today.
Yeah, seeing it on the torch with boots in the way is always fine by me.
Meanwhile, another big thank you for Dark Diplomat for doing our tracking today and also starting that big key guessing game for us. Mushroom and shield upgrade. So, yep, nope, nothing for the first two.
Yep, and now we're on to number 3. There was no small key on the right to throw your torch routing off, so we're going. As Rayvis did get the stair clip there. I feel like I don't see that tech very often. You just spin, you clip through the rail, and suddenly you're down the stairs. And sometimes you take a hard damage for no reason while doing it.
I don't think I've ever seen the Heart of Damage. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not actually 100% sure what causes it, but I've definitely seen it. Anyways,
Alright, so Stelphos Room being Stelphos Room here.
Yeah, while Tepedino clears out the Stalfos room and moves on to the Firebar room, just to provide a quick recap here. The big difference in this race is Tepedino went up Death Mountain. He cleared the Tower of Hera, killed the big mold orm. That rewarded him with the Ether Medallion that is required to get into Misery Mire for a crystal. Rayvis chose not to do Tower of Hera, was not rewarded with Ether, and has made several other checks hoping to stumble across it, none of which have paid off yet.
Yeah, it's been the unfortunate situation of one person just kind of getting randoed.
Yeah, which, it happens. Happens to the best of us. But feels bad when it does.
Meanwhile, Tepedino making pretty quick work of Ganon's Tower here. Doing really well, using some nice flashy strats. Boomerang strats are always fun. Blue boomerang strats are the best.
NMG style dropping his bombs. Which reminds me, we're keeping track of where the big key is. This next check will be number 10.
Good luck, my friend.
And that was a very clean cold stare kill on Rayvis' side. Got slightly out of the corner, but not fast enough to really matter.
Yep, meanwhile, with that cape, it is the third of the three safety items I mentioned earlier, and Rayvis probably going to turn in this green pendant and not get a whole lot for it.
Yeah, at this point, silver arrows are still on the table, but that's not going to be a big time save for him.
Yeah, we could also give Rayvis a minor heart attack here and have Sahasrahla give him Bombos.
Bombos is on the library.
That's right, good call.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody for forgetting that as we see the big key in number 14, because that was like an hour and 25 ago at this point. But yeah.
Alrighty, so Bob's Chest, also known as number 14, with the Hope room to left side routing we got. So shout outs to ALDOG33. You are the winner of today's Big Key Guessing Game. Congratulations. Enjoy your spot in the leaderboard.
Yeah, because the league is so young at this point. I believe that this is only the 4th match, including the kickoff doubleheader yesterday. So if you guess it right, you're going to be on the leaderboard.
Yep, Rayvis finally making the check here, so we're going to get a Moldorm kill in just a couple minutes, and then that stinking Ether Medallion.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but he stuck it out, and he'll at least hit the go mode at the end and be able to run his way through. Because he's just got a mire clear, then he'll be on his way to Ganon's tower himself.
Looks like we're going to get an attempt at a Harapot here. Not easy to do with the hook dash speed. We're giving it a shot.
Yeah, he's trying to buffer his movement. No, he's soft locked. Yeah, he's soft locked there. If you're off by just a little bit or you move in the wrong direction after clipping inside the pot and hooking, you're soft locked there. A mirror will not save you. Your only option is to save and quit. And yeah, it happens, but that feels really bad.
Yeah, that's pretty much insult to injury at this point, especially because Rayvis is deciding to go somewhere else.
Going somewhere else at this juncture makes perfect sense, because the mountain climb is really long for... Yeah.
Alright, meanwhile, Tepedino is a little over halfway up the tower at this point. We've got the second of the 2 fun Canis Mario rooms, and that one on the bottom left just being a pain in our butts today.
Yeah. Conveyor belt moves your Samaria block around, so if you're just slightly off, that means you miss, and then the whole thing's off rails. Well, Rayvis is back up the mountain now after getting that Bombos tablet check. So, gonna be Hera this time for him.
Alright, so meanwhile, since we've been talking about tech, I do have a question about that hook speed. So, I know that you can hook dash by using, the hook shot button and the dash button at the same frame with boots. But how do you do the hook dash that allows you to walk quickly up the stairs? I know that involves holding your sword out to some extent, but what's the specifics on it?
You've either got to be holding your sword out or holding something. Like if you're holding a bomb, it's the same thing.
So do you then just hook dash while holding a bomb or a sword and then have it work that way?
Yeah, you either hook dash while holding your sword out, or you hook dash, then you pick up the bomb or anything like that.
Cool. Thanks for the info. I'll have to start using that. Meanwhile, Moldorm 2 goes down, and this one only took 1 try, so Tepedino definitely getting his revenge.
Yeah, and getting 300 rupees for it, too. Also, I should note that you can do the hold your sword out strat for increased speed on a hook dash up the stairs, even if you don't have a sword. You just hold the button.
Huh, cool. I'll have to make note of that, too. And that is real strat with Reg.
We're getting real geometry with Tepedino here, trying to get as many of these attacks knocked into Aga as possible. Only got 2 so far. That's 4. And Rayvis gets the Harapot successfully as Tepedino gets Aga 2 down.
So actually, at this point, I think Rayvis might hit go mode around the same time as Tepedino takes down the... Well, taking down the pig's going to take a little longer because we don't have silvers.
Yeah. It'll probably be around the time Tepedino's entering phase 2 of the fight. Just because you got to deal with the text boxes here.
Speaking of, Ganon giving us a little bit of land slug knowledge.
Yep, and there's Moldorm down, and there's a phase 2 Ganon. So right on schedule. And Rayvis is in go mode, saying no to that medallion.
Yeah, one of the few rooms where you can say no to a medallion.
Or, excuse me, saying no, he said no to the pendant, not the medallion. I did a silly with words. And in Randomizer, you can always mirror out of a pendant drop. I think you can save and quit out of them too, but you can definitely mirror out of them, even if it's not Moldorm's room.
Ganon really giving us a teleport around there. That was not fun.
No. Rayvis will be seeing the same one, so it's not a time loss, but it's just more of a come on, really sort of moment.
Yeah, especially if you've got that dot done already. You're waiting to post it, and you're like, can you stop? And yeah, there we go. Silvers were in Ganon's tower. And let the silverless fight commence. 12 spins here. We have 2 down so far.
Looks like he's chasing fire rod triples, which means you can get it with just 4 fire rod shots. And he's getting 1 here for sure. So, gonna wait for Ganon to warp here again, then get the timing on this spin. And yep, this is a very well done Ganon fight from Tepedino here. I think he's got a fairy. Pretty sure he got one earlier.
Good call. I wasn't sure, and I was considering calling you out for commentator's curse there, but the fairy saved you.
He knows what he's doing. Because that's Ganon down for Tepedino. He's just got to cross the bridge now.
And it looks like we're going to get that successfully, so Tepedino finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 48 seconds. So get your GGs in chat for Tepedino. And yeah, the Triforce just kind of getting to the point. Winner.
We'll see if he'll join. In the meantime, we've got Rayvis going through Misery Mire, hunting for that big key. Conventional routing here, skipping the cutscene chest, so he'll have it shortly.
Yeah, personally, I'm far too much of a pessimist to ever skip the cutscene chest. A lot of times, I'll just go straight there.
We are joined by the winner of the race, Tepedino. GG, congratulations.
Oh my god, GG. I can't believe it. I'm still shaking.
You played really well the whole way around. As Rayvis is about to enter them, actually, the first thing I want to talk about, Mire Dark Rooms. You want to share your thoughts on that?
What about it? I mean, so earlier today and yesterday, I did a couple seats, and I was like, you know what? I can actually do these rooms dark, so I don't need the lamp at this point. So at some point, I was basically in go mode without, the lamp. So
right.
So that's why I went for it. I even tried to pull out the spooky, but my setup, I screwed up my setup. So yeah.
Well, we weren't sure about your confidence level with them because you were making a few extra checks, Mire Shed, Checkerboard Cave, and so on. We weren't sure if that was for the lamp. But regardless, very well done on those rooms. I think you can definitely be very satisfied with that, even with the fairy usage, because those are some dangerous rooms.
Oh yeah. So the thing the thing about myself is that I play really safe. I like playing really safe. I do not bet much. Safe. You can see that from my race. The only time I actually bet on something was in Tower of Era, and at that point I was thinking, if either Miser, Mire, or Turtle Rock is not either, I lost. So from that point on, I just went playing my game, and you cannot believe the yelp I gave when I saw the either sign on Miser or Mire.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that decision was the big deciding factor in the race, because Rayvis opted against Mire, went a lot of other places first, only got back there really around the time you finished. He picked up that medallion the same time you entered phase 2 again, and
Gotcha. I would love to say that my Ganon fight was swag because of my fairy, but no, I fucked up. I'm sorry, I screwed up. It was like I went in for the dash hits, and I was like, what am I doing? I already have enough hits. So yeah.
yeah, it was fairy aside, it was clean. Other than that, your fire rod used to get those triples was pretty good. I was impressed.
It was one of my. I have to admit, it was one of my best Ganon fights. So yeah. Aside from the fairy and obvious trolling, of course.
Yeah.
Well, hey, a lot of the trick with execution, especially in this game, because we play rando and you're stuck in all sorts of situations, is knowing what you can handle and knowing what you can't. And you routed based upon what you knew you can handle. You didn't go into a situation, get over your head, end up dying, getting tilted. You took stuff in the way that you wanted to, and you ended up winning. So, like, GG, dude. Like, no disrespect for the fairies at all. Do what you need to do. You won the race. That's all that matters.
Thank you very much. If anything, the only thing I was kicking myself is for not doing early Thief style, because the boots were there, and I was so mad when I found them. Because I mean, I since I actually run an NMG, I don't have a big problem doing it with the fighter sword or whatever. But the fact that I didn't have hammer and everything, I was like, no, let's. I mean, in hindsight, the boots were in the big chest, right?
Yep.
And you were the first to find them.
I did it right.
Yeah,
I ended
because
up doing perfectly.
exactly, because Rayvis did go in there earlier and obviously had to skip that chest because, well, you know, Hammer was sitting on K45, exactly where it's supposed to be.
True.
And yeah, so you ended up getting the boots a decent bit before Rayvis, so that ended up being a good call on your part too.
Although Rayvis's dip was only a first 4 dip, so he didn't orphan that chest or anything. Also, just I know that the stream is 10 minutes behind what you're actually doing, but you might want to play your credits.
I wanna what? Oh yeah, right. My bad. Sorry, I'm really new at this. I have no idea what's going on.
It's fine. Just make sure you let them all play all the way through before you cut your stream.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much for letting me know.
Yeah, no
Really,
problem.
one thing I have to say is that I never join any tournament. I am not a competitive person, and truth be told, the only reason we formed a team is that so that Tiso can actually compete, because he's the good one in our team. So
If he's the good one in your team, what's that make you?
I am the worst in the team. No kidding. No exaggeration.
Your team's scary. What the hell?
All right, no sleeping on Shovel is True Go mode. You heard it here first, guys.
So the only thing I want to say, I'm actually being pinged towards the Portuguese stream. So do you mind if I say a few things, then go there?
No, go right ahead.
So I just want to thank the speed gaming community and everybody that does this, because I can tell you that when I'm sorry. I want to say that every single person that talked to me ever since I got here was extremely welcoming and helped me through all my dumb questions and not knowing what to do with IRC or Discord or my stream and everything. So for someone that is so fearful of competition, such as myself, joining this was the easiest experience by far, and I'm only grateful for everything that the community has done and the people that organized this have done. And I encourage everybody that is like me, that has a problem with competition or fears of it, to join this, because there's no way you're gonna feel pressured or in any way unsafe about this.
Well, look, man, major shout-outs to you. You're the one doing the hard stuff, coming out here, getting restreams, running your butt off, taking home the victory. So kudos to you. We're looking forward to see you just a bunch more. And I'm definitely not going to be sleeping on your team now if you're the worst, because, yeah, you did really well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Anyways, go have fun with the Portuguese guys. I'm sure they'd absolutely love to hear from you too.
Thank you very much, friends, and thank you very much for doing your commenting. I really appreciate your work. All right, bye.
So have a good one, man. Alrighty, so meanwhile, right on time, Rayvis is just a second away from grabbing their big key here.
Yeah, and he did go full right side route, so he did find the silver arrows.
Rayvis.
Did he just? He needs a key.
Oof.
Look at
Good
his
call
small
on
key
that,
count.
because I missed it.
Yeah, it took me a sec to realize too. But regardless, Joe of an Armos fight with those silver arrows and got a full refund. And there's the small key he needs. So now he's going to be on his way up.
Hey, at least it wasn't in tile room.
Honestly, at that point, well, do you gamble on a key being upstairs, or do you just do tile room?
I don't know, 3 chests versus 1? I think I'd gamble, honestly.
Chat's also calling out the big chest, which could have been the thing as well.
Oh yeah, good call. I would have totally missed that too. I'm really glad I'm in the booth.
Yeah. How many times do you see the Ganon's Tower big chest opened in a non-Ancient Shuffle run? Non-Ancient Shuffle, non-Key Sanity run, I guess I should say.
Yeah, generally no. That would have been a treat.
Right. Because like, as far as progression goes, you're looking at a bow or a hook shot in there, basically. And those are such long shots to be able to be placed in Ganon's Tower at all to begin with. Sticking them in the big chest is just another level of silly.
Oh, maybe that's a goal. I hope to calm a seed with one of those one of these days.
I guess you could also find a sword in there. I have seen that opened a very small number of times looking for one of those.
That's fair. I feel like that's a bit less likely though, with the fact that, you know, you only need 2 of the 4.
Yeah. That's why the number's still very small.
I mean, either way, we're basically talking about astronomical chances, because for the bow you would need Eastern and Pod to both be pendants. And for the hook shot, you'd need the same for either for Mire and Swamp, or Swamp with the boots being accessible somewhere somewhat soon, so you can get into Mire that way. Very nice land motif.
There's also Ice Palace to throw a wrench in that. But yeah, Silver Arrows for an essential zero cycle on Landmo 2 is always good.
Yeah, that's a good point. I try not to think about Ice Palace too much. The routing for Rando just drives me insane.
Also, I am being informed that it is possible to have your first fire source in Ganon's Tower, apparently. I mean, that sounds like entranced or overworld glitch tier nonsense, but sure.
Well, let's see, because you need a fire source to take out Skull Woods, Turtle Rock, Mire, Pod. So yeah, that's 4 right there. So we're either talking about less than 7 crystals required to get into GT, or we're talking about some glitch nonsense, as you were so politely saying.
Speaking of fire sources, Rayvis is in the fire source rooms of Ganon's Tower.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Also, chat's correct. You don't need fire for Pod, but you didn't mention desert. And there is a non-zero chance you don't need fire for Misery Mire. But that's a chance. I guess really, technically, non-zero chance that you don't need it for Turtle Rock either. So it's, I think, yeah, Desert and Skull Woods are the only dungeons that hard require fire sources to complete. So yeah, that's actually not as bad as I was thinking.
I mean, you'd also need it for Turtle Rock, so you need Desert,
No.
Skull Woods, and Turtle Rock.
Because the right side of Turtle Rock could be Map Compass, in which case you don't actually need fire to complete
You
it.
need Fire Rod to beat Trinex.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. I'm dumb. It's the same way you need Fire Rod to reach Mothula. Well, not the same way, but close enough. So yeah. Still requires a fairly precise lineup of pendants.
Yeah, it would also technically require the lamp somewhere, but yes, you could logic break that. I wonder if that select buffer was intentional. Nice triple.
It's probably less intentional than that triple.
That's an interesting way of putting it, Rick.
Yeah. But that is Agitude down. So Rayvis will be into Ganon in just a few seconds here.
Yep, and with Silvers, this is going to be a fairly quick fight. 12 slashes in the first phase. Well, a combination of slashes and spins that equal 12 Tempered Sword hits. And then another 12 for the second phase, 4 for the third, and then 4 silvers to the face for the last phase.
Yeah. With Silver Arrows, you want to pay more attention to phase 1 and 2 of the fights than phases 3 and 4, just because that's going to be the mark of speed. And you see Rayvis knocks both of those down in one cycle, so that's as quick of a Ganon fight as you're going to see.
Yeah, and for phase 2 in particular, Rayvis was wailing on Ganon. Holy cow. I think he was telling Ganon what he thought about that Ether Medallion placement, if we're being honest here.
Magic Cape absolutely lets you do that. So, and the other thing I'm going to be looking for here is, does Rayvis actually get the torch glitch here, or does he skip it to line up a double or a triple on the silvers? Looks like he gets it immediately, which does leave him in position for a double, and this will be the fourth. So pretty well done.
Yeah, one shot pre-lamp, and then, or pre-fire rod, I should say. A quick double, and then a really short warp and another one in there. So Ganon being nice as we get a dash to the door.
And that is Rayvis finishing with a time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 24 seconds. So GG's to him. And we'll see if we can get him in here to talk for a little bit.
Yep, and with Rayvis going ahead and using a fast forward for his credits, we are ironically going to get a situation where Rayvis's credits finish first.
Although Tepedino's credits are going to finish.
That's all that matters. Alrighty, and with that, we are joined in the booth by Rayvis, who I believe is still doing some mic setup. Sorry, I jumped the gun there.
Yeah. I think you're here now, right, Rayvis?
I'm seeing the green circle come up, but I'm not hearing him.
I think I can... Not sure what's up with your mic, Rayvis, but something's coming through it. It just does not sound like you.
There we go.
Ah, yes, much better. So,
Am I a little bit too loud? I hope not.
nah, I think you're fine.
All right.
Regardless, GG. Unfortunate that seed didn't turn out your way with that Ether medallion, but pretty well played
Yeah.
overall, even in spite of that, I think.
I mean, this was the kind of race I was scared of, like having the whole world open for one item, and it's basically a lottery to win the game.
Yeah, I sympathize. Absolutely hate those kinds of seeds myself.
I mean, it's good for daily races to win them, but that's basically all. It's not a good one-on-one seed.
Mm.
Yeah, it happens. Randos like that sometimes, unfortunately. And with the fact that you were much more leaning towards clearing out crystals in overworld locations, Ether was not in a good spot for you at all.
Yeah, I mean, so I basically made every wrong decision you could make, besides skipping left side swamp and leaving the last item in Eastern. I don't know. It's basically when you get the hammer, go back to Thieves Town, and at least you got the boots for everything. I got them super late, and yeah, that Ether medallion. I mean, it was a complete shit show at Hera anyway. So, well, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. And I guess the big question... Well, first off, aside from that Ether medallion, I guess, let me rephrase this. Before we devolved into Ether Hunt, were you having fun with the seed?
It was kind of okay, I think. It was certainly interesting. I thought the fire out could have led to a little bit more for me personally. I was happy to finish the desert in the first place. In the end, it didn't matter since you got the flute and the mirror pretty easy. Yeah, I don't know. I cleared basically the whole game. I was just unlucky. I don't know. I can't really say anything. So the seed was okay. I mean, when you know there's nothing on pedestal, that leads you even further away from pennant bosses in general. So yeah, well, stuff happens.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes it's like that. Just I'll be looking forward to seeing the next race for sure from you, because I do think that even with the Ether Medallion being the debacle it was, you did put on a pretty good run, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I asked Tip what's his collection rate, and he has 141, so 30 checks and 15 minutes or 17 minutes. Well, yeah, count those down, and this is at least a close race.
Right. So, like I said, definitely something to look forward to from you for, I guess, probably next week or whenever your next race is. So, definitely nothing to be ashamed about with how this seed turned out, in my opinion.
Yeah, speaking of which, do you have any particular plans for which weeks you're going to run, or is that still kind of up in the air?
I'm talking with my teammates about what we're gonna do. I know that I'm gonna attempt the spoiler races as a guide, and that's pretty much it that I know. But we're talking about that probably week by week. It depends if someone has no time or has time. Then you've got to switch up some things. You can't plan everything. Real life sometimes comes and shuts you down.
That's a fair point. Do you have any particular weeks that you are looking forward to?
I'm absolutely not looking forward to cross keys.
Same. Hard same.
The rest is probably okay. Mystery depends if this is kind of cross keys as well, and everything else is fine.
Yeah, mystery being cross keys or something similar is a 2 for the price of 1 that you really don't want to have to deal with.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see. Yeah, but thanks for having me, guys. Thanks to chat. I gotta give another interview in the German side, so
Yeah, no problem. Go say hi to those guys and have fun.
bye bye, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one. It was a pleasure watching your race.
And I guess on that note, that will pretty much do it for us. I've been Reg, my partner's been Hammer, and Hammer, you can have the last word.
Yeah, I don't really have anything in particular to say. I would definitely keep an eye out on the ALTTPR League schedule, though, because for the next 7 weeks, we are going to have an absolute buttload. And yes, that is an official sanctioned measurement. An absolute buttload being exactly 64 races per week each week for the next 7 weeks. So if you like Rando, yeah, definitely go take a look at that schedule, because there's a bunch of stuff coming up, and it's just going to keep coming for the next, almost 2 months. That is all I've got. I wish you guys well. I hope that any seeds that you play don't end up being a terrible seed with Ether sitting on Pendant Moldorm, and I think that's all I've got. So shout out to Reg, my co-comp, and shout out to our wonderful tracker who was pressing the buttons and keeping us straight. Sorry about the Discord issues. We did our best. I think it cleared up a little bit towards the end there, but it was a bit of a struggle the whole time. So shout out to Dark Diplomat, our tracker, and I think that's all I've got. Good night, everyone.